Up, it's a beautiful morning. Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Who's all got a smile on their face this morning then? Quite a lot of people, I would suggest. Good morning. Let me just double check this, and we'll all be good to go. Got a smile on their face. So yeah, there's lots to talk about from yesterday. Obviously, the main one is Rio Hatate standing up and taking that penalty. Took him 3 attempts, but he managed to get the goal. I will hold my hands up. Rio Hatate had a good second half. Came on for Oxlade-Chamberlain. We need to talk about Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. Is Oxlade-Chamberlain the real deal? Is he, and I'm going to say it, is he in Callum McGregor territory, just running down his career? And is that what we really need at Celtic going forward for next season? Obviously, but there was a lot of good coming out of the game yesterday. One player that was at the game, and I loved this because I can remember being in the stand beside Lee Griffiths back in the day. I remember going into Ibrox. I've still got the pictures on my Facebook. Going in, standing right next to Lee Griffiths, going into Ibrox, and then being just sit down in front of him. And then when we won that game at Ibrox, Lee Griffiths is up in the second tier, giving it loudy with a tricolour. That was brilliant, and these kind of memories live with you forever. But a player that has had a lot of stick was at the game yesterday with his mates in the Celtic half, whilst his boss was in the main stand on a scouting mission. Yes, Stevie Welsh. Stevie Welsh, the man that a lot of Celtic fans love to hate. A lot of Celtic fans say that he's not good enough to be at Celtic. He's one of us. Give the lad a break, man. He was at the game yesterday. That picture was taken just as he was going into the games, and I'm sure he had an absolutely fantastic time yesterday. Oh, Stevie Welsh in the game. And also we've seen his manager. Yes, his manager. Will they fear Celtic? Celtic are really becoming a team of two halves. And there have been players that have suggested that we need to get our finger out and start performing in both halves. Back to Stevie Welsh. He'd have loved that yesterday. There's no stress on him at all now. He's away from Celtic. I know that he's on loan until the end of the season, but he just wants to. He's a supporter. He's like one of us. Do you know what I mean? So I think he needs a bit of a break, and I think it's a big shout out to Stevie Welsh who was at the game yesterday. But let's talk about Rio Hatate. We'll talk about Rio Hatate first of all. Rio Hatate had a fantastic game yesterday. It made a difference. I will give him that. When we seen Rio Hatate come on, there was a lot of people, everyone around the country maybe thought, yeah. Does he, Chris? That's interesting. I'm going to message you on Facebook. Um, You've totally thrown me there, mate. Right, yeah. People that are running down their careers. Rio Hatate had a fantastic game yesterday. Was Rio Hatate just putting himself in the shop window? Is Rio Hatate now classed as a super sub? Playing him for the full 90 minutes of the game doesn't seem to be to Celtic's advantage. Even the penalty. Come on, you've got to say it took 3 chances for him to get the penalty in. That was poor defending by Rangers standards. A penalty taker should never be allowed 3 attempts at a penalty, and it's called for Ali McCoist. It's called for Ali McCoist has spat his dummy out with the penalty. Ali McCoist is wanting a change to the rules. He wants a change to the rules. After the VAR check awarded the penalty. His arm was in an unnatural position, Ali. His arm was out like this. Of course, it's a penalty. He deflected the ball into the arm of the goalkeeper. That's a penalty. Get over it. But anyway, when you have the likes of people saying it prevented it from going into goal, I'm not sure it did. I think the goalkeeper is there as well, said Ali. But there's an argument. It hits his hand. It's unbelievable amount of sympathy for him. Um, I don't. I think it's absolutely hilarious that Ali McCoist is wanting rule changes. You always see, you know, this thing where his hands in a natural or unnatural, his hands in a natural position. He's trying to get to close a player down. Um, it's always great when they're in a complete meltdown and crybabies. And it's got to fit their agenda. Yeah, Calvin Miller was there. I'm not too sure what half he was in though. I did see the picture of Calvin Miller. Was he in the Celtic end? I don't know. I couldn't make out which end he was in. But anyway, we talk about Rio Hatate and the three attempts. And the Engels, I think he would have got it in one go. I don't think Beaton went to the pub after the game. And then we need to talk about Oxlade Chamberlain. Oxlade Chamberlain. Somebody put up a message about Oxlade Chamberlain. I mean, these players are generally just running down their career? I mean, Oxlade Chamberlain. Scott says, I give Rio a bit of stick before he came on. I must take it back. He turned the game yesterday and he played so well. Yeah, he did. It was a strange game of football because at half time, I don't think. I mean, Callum McGregor said after the game that the game kind of went to game plan as they expected. The game went the way that Celtic expected it to go. For them to break down the game, them not to play nice football, just to make it ugly. And then once Celtic started playing football, Rangers completely capitulated and they were absolutely garbage in the second half. Now you've got to say, if I mean Celtic said beforehand in the dressing room, Callum McGregor said, "Look, a point's a good result for us. It's not the end of the season." I mean, what it's done, it has opened up a bit of a gap at the top of the table when you look at the table. There's no denying it. I mean, it's something that we can't get away from. We still find ourselves in third position. I felt that we had to go into the game yesterday and try and get all 3 points. We didn't. You have to be honest with yourself, and it's as it stands at this moment, it's in Hearts' hands. But Celtic can still take points off of Hearts. So it's hard. Whilst it's Hearts to throw away, Celtic aren't out the title race just yet. By no means are we out the title race. I expect Celtic to beat Hearts at Celtic Park. I fully expect Celtic to beat Rangers at Celtic Park. It's just what we can do in another 10 games because we have 10 games. They've got 9 games. Games are running out for them. And once we get the game on Wednesday evening, we'll be in a better position because I fully expect us to beat Aberdeen. If we do not beat Aberdeen with that set, I mean, even dropping points against Aberdeen, we can write it off this season completely from a league perspective. We've still got the cup game next weekend. We did say that this week would be the most defining week in Scottish football for Celtic. We've came through with the fact that we got a draw at Ibrox against the odds. Let's face it. At half time, I mean, there were a lot of people saying before the game. There was quite a lot of people on the chat before the game, and fair play to you guys. And my hats off to you guys. There was a lot of people saying it was going to be a 2-2 game. But let's be honest, when you've seen them go into that 2-0 lead in the first half and Celtic were all over the place. The shape of the team was terrible. It was nothing like what it was in Dortmund. The back line was all over the place. It was a makeshift back line. We're still going to be without. The only good thing when it comes to the cup game is that we will have Austin Trusty back in the team. And don't get me wrong, I thought Dane Murray had a good game. It's not a game. It's not a game that he would have expected at this stage of the season to be starting. Dane Murray knows that he's down the pecking order as he learns and progresses as a player. Over the last week, the last 4 or 5 days, people like Colby Donovan, people like Dane Murray have proven that they're valuable to Celtic going forward as players. But at this end of the season, you really want all your most experienced players playing. And I think it showed in the first half. And I think that, even having Dane Murray on the pitch, he made some cracking saves yesterday. Blockages. He was fantastic. Dane Murray in the first half. I think we were lucky to have him on the pitch in the first half, because I think if we'd had anyone younger, it would have been a complete disaster. But we had a player with enormous experience on the pitch, phenomenal experience on the pitch. He's won everything that there is to win in football. Oxlade-Chamberlain never quite lived up to the expectation yesterday. Didn't grab the game by the throat. The Rangers team are a bit more athletic than he is. We are in a position where you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, you've got Kelechi Iheanacho, you've got, thankfully, the keeper that never played yesterday, because I think that if Kasper Schmeichel had played yesterday, it would have been done and dusted by half time. But those are three players that are coming towards the end of their career in football terms. And then you've got James Forrest. We're having to bring on, James Forrest is still kicking around. There's lots of changes that's going to happen in the summer. But between now and the end of the season, can Oxlade-Chamberlain will prove invaluable for games like Hibernian, Motherwell. You might think if you can get a full 90 minutes out of them against sides that maybe not be as physical against Celtic. But I tell you one thing, the Motherwell manager will be hoping that if Celtic drop any points against Aberdeen, the Motherwell manager is well within his right to think, do you know what? I'm targeting third position. Celtic aren't a great side. Yes, they're great when it clicks in the second half, but they're not a 90-minute team for some reason. If you have a right good go at Celtic, you can get something out of the game. They might think that a draw is good. They might think that Celtic will drop more points. Can Celtic realistically go between now and... We've been saying it since before the Hibs game. Every game is a must-win game. And every 2 points dropped, Hearts sigh a little bit of a relief. But anyway, enough about Hearts. Let's jump into the comments this morning, because bitter Ali McCoist wants rule changes. Peter Grant says that it was poor decision making by Daniel Rowe that allowed Celtic back into the game. Or was it? It wasn't bad decisions by the Rangers manager. It was good decisions by the Celtic manager, I would say. And I think that it's fair to say that Celtic completely took advantage of the second half. And it's unusual, because usually Celtic have a good first half and then we're crap in the second half. But, I mean, could we have won the game yesterday? I think a draw ultimately was a fair result. It wasn't the ideal result, but it leaves us in the position that we are in this morning. 3 times a charm with a Rio penalty. I thought it was done when Rio came out, but hands up, played well. But the penalty, heart failure. I think, I had penalty heart failure as well. A lot of people talking about the rules getting changed. I wonder if Ali would want the rules changed if the Rangers got the penalty. I don't think Beaton would have went to the pub after the game. No, I don't think so. I'm surprised that he took a while, didn't he? I mean, VAR were like, I'm not calling it. It will be interesting when Rangers call for the release of the audio. No, mate, no, fuck, mate, it's hit his hand. Like, mate, it's hit his hand. Fuck. You're going to have to do this one, mate. I'm no calling it. Fuck, I've gone down to the lodge tonight. Fuck that shit. Beaten, you're going to have to call this one, man. Sorry. Fucking we're out. Hello? 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 Where are the Billy Boys? Where the fuck are you? That fucking VAR's pissed off. Anyway, we get on. Why didn't our captain not take the penalty? The ball was going under. The your captain's never taken a penalty for years. It's a bit of a strange conversation to have. I don't know where you're coming with that one, because Kalmak's never. I don't think Kalmak's ever been a penalty taker for Celtic. Still winnable, 3 points against Aberdeen and back down the road. I think we'll get 3 points against Aberdeen. It's going to be a fantastic night on Wednesday. And Aberdeen away has been a turning point for Celtic over a number of years. Under Ronnie Dyler, I can remember being off at Aberdeen away on a cold winter's evening. Now we're now into spring, obviously, but we've been the 2nd of March. But I can remember that was a turning point in Ronnie Dyler's season. Was an away win at Aberdeen. We keep on talking about turning points. I don't think there's many. I don't think there's many. When you come to the end of the season, how many games will you look at back on? Because I don't think that we've had a turning point in the season. It's been a struggle all season. I think once we get to the end of the season, we'll sit back and go, that was a relief. But in Celtic terms, there's still a lot of upheaval to be had. A lot of upheaval. And whilst we're putting it all on the back burner, we're not thinking about the next manager. We're not thinking about the 10 to 15 players that could leave the club in the summer. We're not thinking about the rebuild that's needed in the summer. And we're not thinking about the 30 million plus that's going to have to be spent in the summer to get a team not only capable of trying to get back and dominate Scottish football and make Celtic Park a fortress on a domestic level, but hopefully we can bring in a manager that can bring us back and keep going with what Martin O'Neill. This is one of the biggest managerial appointments that Celtic will have had since it brought in Martin O'Neill 25 years ago. This is how important this appointment is, because you've got a really strong Hearts team right now. The big thing next season, leaving this season alone a minute, will be, can Hearts keep up and can Hearts continue to progress the way that they've played this season? Or will Hearts just be a one-hit wonder? Will Derek McInnes manage to maintain Hearts as a force within Scottish football? But then if Motherwell retain their manager and their manager goes, do you know what, never mind Hearts, I want to try and finish second. Do you know, I want to try and get Motherwell to split the Glasgow 2. I want to try and get Motherwell to win the league. That can only be good for Scottish football. Well, as Celtic fans, we want complete domination, and that we've had over the last 20 odd years, basically. But from a Scottish perspective, but the downside of having a good league in Scotland, and I mean that by more than one team running away with the title. And it comes to Europe, are these other teams capable of putting on any kind of run in Europe? And I would say at this time, no. I mean, Danny Rowe's coming in and he's saying that he thinks that they're the best thing in Scotland. Danny Rowe's results in Europe would tell us otherwise. Don't know. But who cares about them? Can Celtic do the double? That's the big question. We still believe that we can do it. And it's going to make it interesting. I mean, we're now in March. We've got April, May to go. Oh, God, it's going to be exciting the next 10 games for Celtic anyway, because that is it. European football's over. There's no other alternative to look at. We need to focus on this game on Wednesday for the SPFL to get us into that second position. And then we go back to Ibrox next week with 7,000 odd fans. We get the full broom loan. The full broom loan to sing better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Rangers fans standing going, are we meant to be singing this, man? Look at that mob. Look at that mob singing our song. Anyway, right, Oxlade Chamberlain. The Ox was found out yesterday. Looked very jaded, not fit for the game. We definitely miss Engels. I wonder how long Arnie Engels is out for. Celtic haven't confirmed as yet how long Arne Engels is out for. The Ox isn't up to match fitness yet. But we see, is it worth having him on the pitch then in games like that if he's not match fit? I mean, do we allow him 30 minutes of a game in the first half to try and, or do we bring him on as, Martin O'Neill's got a big decision to make, especially when you've seen the way that Luke McCowan performed in Stuttgart. Big names and big price tags over the years and what you've done in the past means absolutely nothing when it comes to a game day in this day and age. Unless you're an absolute, I mean, we've had superstars at Celtic before. Look at Juninho when he came to Celtic under Martin O'Neill. World Cup winner and everything else like this. He came to Celtic and he was absolutely garbage. He was rubbish. Even Martin O'Neill said, it's like we brought Juninho in and he was like a shadow of his former self. I mean, I know that Celtic going forward, we can only play with the players that we've got, and we just need to hope. We just need to hope that some of the players that are on their way back come back pretty soon, because we're going to need them up front. And it'll be interesting to see when young Callum Osmond, because that was a player that I was really liking the look of at Celtic, that looked as if he could start scoring goals for Celtic, and that's what we're needing. We're needing a proven goal scorer. For all Junior Adamu did yesterday, yeah, he wasn't really getting the ball in the first half. The first half was a nightmare. Martin O'Neill decided to go with Dyson Maeda through the middle. Dyson would have scored if it hadn't hit the Hunt arm. It would have been great for his confidence. Rangers gassed out. They couldn't play at that first half intensity. Was it the first half intensity, or was it the fact it was a scrappy game in the first half? There was a lot of head tennis going on in the first 20 minutes. There was no nice football at all. And it suited the way that Rangers wanted to play the game. Try and break it down. Don't let Celtic play one or two passes together. Scales and other people were taking too long on the ball. Then once they started getting the one-touch pass, once Liam Scales started doing the one-touch pass, you started to see the improvement in Celtic gradually coming into the game towards the end of the first half. Martin O'Neill has his talk, and then it all changes it. Butland doesn't have that coming off his face if the direction of the ball wasn't changed with the handball symbols. Yeah. Beaten looking for an excuse not to give a penalty. Yeah, it was that. Hatate has always been one of our best players. Hopefully this will now bring his top form back before he leaves in the summer. He's always been a top player, but I think he needed to be benched. He needed to be. Too many players in the Celtic team over the year have been overly confident that there's no one sitting on the bench that was capable of taking their place on a full-time basis. Rio Hatate was one of them. Daiz Maeda, another. We've had defenders, Liam Scales and Austin Trusty, not being too fearful of losing their place on the bench due to the fact that the players that were there weren't deemed good enough. Dane Murray says, well, I'm going to do a Liam Scales. Go and hold my pint, Liam, because I'm going to come on and I want to take your place on the pitch. Fair play to the lads. We said fair play to Liam Scales a few years back when he was on his road out to Aberdeen, and everyone said Liam Scales is just not Celtic. There was lots of people said that Liam Scales wasn't Celtic standard. But then after the last 3 or 4 years, he has definitely been Celtic standard. In the last 3 years, anyway, he's definitely been Celtic standard. He does have the odd puller of the shirt and stuff, as do a lot of the defenders. It's just one of those things. But going forward, I hope that it's given Rio Hatate that spark, that belief. And yes, Rio will want a move in the summer. If you want a move in the summer to a decent club, you need to go all out in the next 10 games. 11. We've got, as it stands at the moment, we've got 11 games to play between now and the end of the season. If we win at Ibrox next week, which I hope we do, because I want to go on and win the Scottish Cup. The Scottish Cup is it's Celtic's cup to win, and we need to retain it. Sinisalo definitely number one just now. Let's talk about the goalkeeper. Um, let's talk about the goalkeeper because he made some cracking saves. You cannot. The first goal for Rangers and an overhead kick. You've got sometimes you've just got to say, yeah, that was a cracking goal. Should have our little Mexican Julian Araujo. Should he have got to the ball before it gets to the defender? It kind of goes over Araujo's head. He mistimes it completely. Liam Scales mistimes one as well for a goal. You've got to say that it was a good goal, and there wasn't much chance of any keeper stopping that. So I wouldn't blame Sinisalo for that. Sinisalo made some cracking saves during the game. He has distribution for the ball and everything. He's a lot calmer in the goals. He's a lot he's a bit more reassuring for the defenders. Could we have done anything for the 2 goals? That's a different story. Helen says, I didn't see that coming. I almost switched off at half time. Tell me about it. Even my mother texted me and said, why'd you keep on walking away from the live? And I'm like, you're lucky I didn't walk away and go to the pub altogether. I was filling up my wine glass. She texted me during the game and was like, why are you walking away? And I'm like, I'm ready to chuck it and just go to the pub. Half time. But I didn't. The Ox is just like every other player, EPL player who comes up here, doesn't get the pace of the derby. Yeah, this is true. Very true. That's brilliant. Are you feeling confident over this Sunday's quarter final? I don't feel good about the game. We were very lucky to get the draw. I hope we're going to get beat on Sunday. We are not good enough. We lack quality. I would say that once you get Austin Trusty back into the team, Martin, I don't know what other players. I don't think that there's any other players that are on their way back from fitness. Austin Trusty will make a difference. I don't know how far off Celtic have kept it quiet about Arnie Engels. Don't know how long he's out for. We'll need to try and find that one out. But I think that Celtic can win the game next week. 7,500 fans will make all the difference. Our away fans, and I'm going to say this again, I said that the comparison to this season and the season under Ronnie Dyler, the away fans are far better than than playing at Celtic Park. Our players don't feel the anxiety of the home fan base. It's the atmosphere at Celtic Park right now is toxic because we know the reasons why it's toxic. The players seem to play with a little bit of less stress in their back. Do you know, when it's an away game? And the away fans, well, you've seen the away fans yesterday. But am I confident? Yes, I think that we'll get it over the line next week. I think that there can be no draw. I think that we know the Rangers put everything. Danny Rowe made one mistake yesterday. He threw everything at Celtic that he could. He laid out exactly how they're going to play next week. They won't be able to change anything really. I think the intensity of the game and everything that they brought in the first, they'll play the exact same next week. Celtic know that we just start to play football. We don't allow them to break it down. Martin O'Neill will say that whatever Martin O'Neill said at half time worked. Martin O'Neill then takes that second half and he takes the team talk from the second half. And, Martin O'Neill will say this morning, it's all about the next game, it's all about Aberdeen. But when it comes to the quarter final next week, Martin O'Neill will know exactly what he needs to do to win this game. And I think that Martin O'Neill will win it. Nobody expected us to go to Dortmund and get a result. Nobody. Everyone thought everyone still says it was a dead rubber game. Tell that to the players that gave their all to win it. Tell that to the fans that went there and had an absolutely fantastic time and made loads of friends. I mean, even on this channel, we've now got a lot of German subscribers due to the fact that there's been such a friendship between ourselves and Frankfurt. I think that it's going to be a hard game next week, but Celtic will win it. And I did say, I said before the game yesterday, would you take a draw in this game today to win the game next week? And a lot of people said yes. So I think that it's all. I think it's all going to plan as far as Martin O'Neill is concerned right now. Because a lot of people wanted Martin O'Neill to completely throw the game on Thursday evening and not even try and win it. It's where you've got the likes of Danny Rowe saying, well, why didn't Celtic try and win the tie? You know, maybe tire out some players. Rogers compares football to boxing. The first few rounds you try. Rogers? Why are we talking about Rogers? Jesus. That's a name that I never want to mention again. Sinisalo was brilliant yesterday. He gave real confidence to the defence. Dane Murray won every header. Dane Murray's a big lad. I didn't actually realise the height of Dane Murray. I don't understand why he gets stick because he's Scottish and he's young and he's come through the system at Celtic. But Dane Murray's a player that could really go on to be something at Celtic, you know, with just the right kind of defender next to him. I think that you'll see. I think next season, looking forward to next season, I think that Dane Murray will be wanting to do what Liam Scales did and try and make that shirt his own. Don't know. He want to prove that he's better than Liam Scales. Can he do that? Can he do what Liam Scales did? Every time that Celtic brought in a defender, Liam Scales went, I need to knuckle down. I need to up my performance. Dane Murray's at that level now. He needs to up his performance. He needs to keep on going up gradually. Doesn't need big massive jumps in performance levels, but just gradual little increases. He will know what he needs to do. The Celtic backroom staff will tell Dane Murray exactly what he needs to do to improve every single aspect of his game. Just little tiny tweaks each game. Keep going forward. Keep improving. And I tell you one thing, there'll be a lot of people eating humble pie next season if Dane Murray does do it, even this season. Murray was excellent apart from the obvious error. I think we could say you can count on other defenders over the season that have had errors in games. I never noticed the handball at first. Don't think anyone did. There wasn't a mad reaction from the players. It was a weird one, but at least we got it. I don't care how we get it. Don't care if it was VAR. That's what VAR was brought in for. And let's face it, we've had penalties given against us this season where you're thinking, and VAR called it. They say in the game it's a levelling up of things that happen over the season, as they say in football. And maybe that was just a levelling up of what's happened over the season. But VAR called it, and VAR called it right. It's the rules of the game at the end of the day. With a full stand behind Celtic next week, it will make a massive difference. Rangers came out like Mike Tyson, ended up starring in a Buster Douglas Celtic side that won't go away. The key for us to cope was better first half. Yeah, we need to get better. But listen, Oxlade Chamberlain said that in his interview last week on Celtic TV. He said that the Celtic team know as a collective that they need to perform better in the first half of football games. Why aren't we? Should be the question. There's a lot that Martin O'Neill and Fozzie and Sean Maloney will have to look at this morning. Martin O'Neill will probably watch the game back today, and the rest of the players they'll watch the game back. They'll analyse it. They'll sit in their wherever they sit and watch the game, and then they'll talk about it, and then they'll forget about it until the end of the week because they know that they have to go back on the training pitch and then completely focus on the game on a Wednesday. Even winning our 10 game, 85 points for the season is pretty poor for Celtic standards. But that shows you how high the standards have been at Celtic. And yes, it could. This could be the lowest points tally for a league winner in a long time. But it shows you the expectation levels at Celtic, and is what is happening now just a realism of where we are as a club. Two mistakes cost us a goal yesterday. Calmack should have punted the ball for the first goal, and Murray crazy Marlin mistake for the second. Rangers could say that it was a crazy mistake that they got. It's football. I was disappointed with the Calmack one for the first one because I thought Calmack should have done better on the edge of the box. But that's why I'm putting Calmack and Oxlade Chamberlain into the same basket. We've all seen the over exuberance about Oxlade Chamberlain coming to Celtic. He's the same age as Callum. He's coming towards the end of his career. Are we expecting too much from a player that hasn't played all season? You know, there's no doubt that there is a good football player there, but you have to say people want Calmack out. Is Luke McCown ready to step up to dominate that midfield? I don't think so. It's going to be an interesting summer, that is for sure, because I don't think that Oxlade here's one for you for this a question this morning. Is Oxlade Chamberlain and Callum McGregor the answer to our midfield going into next season? I'll jump into the comments for that one. Is Oxlade Chamberlain and Calmack the real answer to Celtic's midfield woes going into next season? To have an assault in 4 competitions, whatever European, competition that we are in. It's an interesting one. Centre back who makes mistakes to give them a goal. Ibrox didn't have a good game. Murray is 22. He's no child. He's fully grown adult. He makes mistakes, big games consistently. So does Liam Scales, and Liam Scales is older. So does Cameron Carter-Vickers, and he cost us £6 million. So does Austin Trusty. We need to stop this at 22, you're a grown man nonsense. He's, in football terms, he's still in his youth. Celtic players don't come through the ranks. We buy in players at 22. He's come through the system. You could name every defender over the last 5-6 years that's had and made many, many, many mistakes at the back. So calling out his age and stuff, I think, is a little bit much, Liam. But anyway, it's all about opinions. It's all about opinions. The lad Murray came on to a good game in the second half. He needs to try and build from that. Yep, it's not just this game. I think that Craig White says the word should be changed to Pound Arcade. Sinisalo stays in goal for me. He didn't have a lot to do, but he looked assured. He did that. Sinisalo has to play every game to the end of the season. And then we have a chance to win the league. Ball was 100% going into the net before his hand hit it. Yep. Showed Olsen that shot with the fans singing "Bad Simply the Best." Pissing himself for ages. I know. It's absolutely brilliant. Sorry, Baz, Murray and every other player were dreadful in the first half. I don't think that I don't think that they were dreadful. I think that the shape of the team, I don't know what was going on with that. How you can go, we were chasing for some unknown reason. This Celtic team can either be absolutely phenomenal, the way that we played in the first 20 minutes in Germany. Positional wise, we were fantastic. Outstanding, as Martin O'Neill said. First 20 minutes in Germany, our positional play, outstanding. First 20 minutes of the game yesterday, positional play. You're thinking, is this the same squad of players? The inconsistency of this team over this season under 4 separate managers at different times. Martin O'Neill twice, Brendan Rodgers at the start of the season, and the ill-fated Wilfred Nancy nonsense that cost us a couple of £1 million. And a lot of lost points. I'm going to jump right through to the end of the comments. We could have done with Welshie yesterday. Oh, nothing better than a Monday morning rant from people, as Chris says. But anyway, I hope you're all having a fantastic time. If you're just in at work this morning, if you're sitting in work in the Bothy, or if you're sitting in the loo watching this, and you've got far too many of a certain fan base around you this morning, just have a nice smile. Just walk around smiling all day, all day. It's absolutely brilliant. A Celtic team without a striker in double figures for goals. This is a serious issue that needs sorting out. It's the issue that we've had all year, isn't it? I think this is one of the first seasons that we when was the last time that we didn't have a striker that was in double figures? I still say it. We let go, we sold, and I blame Brendan Rodgers for this. I completely blame Brendan Rodgers. Selling Adam Ida, whatever went on in the background, was absolute suicidal to Celtic's season. And that's something that a lot of fans might disagree with. But I personally think that selling Adam Ida at a loss was suicidal. He scored 9 goals, sorry, when he was on loan at Celtic in half a season. He scored 20 goals the following season. He could have easily scored 20 goals this season. Easily. But we sold him. Can't compare Calmack and the Ox. Cal full pre-season and Ox no pre-season, 4 games, 12 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. I'm thinking forward to next season. Are a lot of fans don't want Callum McGregor here as it stands just now. There are a lot of people say that Calmack's a missing jumper in midfield. Callum has given his life to Celtic. But are they really the answer? Are him and Oxlade-Chamberlain the answer for Celtic going forward as the mainstay of your midfield next season? Or are they getting a little bit over the hill since both of them are 32? Why is Kelechi not given on the bench? Because he is wash, as they say, putting it politely. 100% the board's fault. They sold Adam Ida without a replacement. Yep. Do you think that Calmack just needs a rest? He plays so many games. I think getting on. I don't think Callum needs a rest, because that would be like the people used to say that you never said that about Scott Brown. You know, the physical of he needs better players around him. There is no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. Murray can cut out the silly mistakes and be a decent player. Joseph says that Johnny Kenny should have still been there. Sure, there's a chance now to get the Green Brigade back in for Motherwell. Get the full stadium rocking for the run-in. See, it's good when that we're I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's good when that we're away from home, because we're switching off from all the negativity that's at Celtic. All the negativity that has been brought about by the board. People will say that the Celtic fans have caused a lot of negativity. The Celtic fans collective have caused negativity, throwing balls on the pitch against Hibernian was causing negativity, and you could say that there's lots of things that have added to the anxiety of the fans over the course of the season. And I think the biggest catalyst for the anxiety of the fans this season was Brendan Rodgers. He was the biggest catalyst at the start of the season for proclaiming doom and gloom around Celtic Park. And when, as a manager, your manager is there to talk up not only the team, not only the players, but the football club and motivate the fan base. Brendan Rodgers did neither at the beginning of the season. And I don't think that should ever be forgotten. No matter how successful he was as a manager at Celtic, it should never be forgotten that he was also the manager that put Celtic into this position this season. The man that said he would never walk away. But anyway, we digress. Just going to jump back into there. The Ox won't be here next season, says Joseph Davison. Well, he's got it in his contract that he will have a conversation about an extension next season. Just saying. He does have that in his contract, the option of the next season. Carmack is a great player, but never a defensive player nor captain. Ooh, interesting one. Who would be your captain then? Because I think that Callum McGregor for me was always the natural choice after Scott Brown. Is Kieran Tierney captain material? I don't think so. Is Luke McCowan captain material? But isn't that is is Luke capable of commanding the holding a position in the Celtic team week in, week out? Or will the captain going forward be a little Canadian player? Tell you one thing, I'd love Julian Araujo to be captain. Oh, him and his wind-up antics yesterday after the game, getting in the Rangers players' faces, giving them jip. Come on then. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Kels is not interested. Lazy player. Shouldn't be anywhere near our team. Yes, it's very, very true. The Huns will finish fourth this season. This season is a wipeout for us. Next season will be a change and a new team in. He was training in Manchester yesterday. Who was training in Manchester yesterday? Dale, you need to tell me. I don't know. Carmack needs to move forward. He's unable to perform in his defensive duties. I don't think Acho is bad. He scored 3 times. It's not prolific as a striker, is it? And I don't think that he's been. I don't think he has what it. He's too slow. He's far too slow for it to be a Celtic striker. Far too slow. Adam Media Championship played 18, 3 goals. And he's maybe not getting the service that you get at Celtic. How many players have left and have been phenomenal at Celtic and go on? Not, I don't understand why people do this, because when you play at Celtic, it's a different, completely different kettle of fish about when you go and play someone else. There's not been many players that have went on and have been a success elsewhere. Don't know. Adam Ida can score goals in Scotland, and that's what we're talking about. There's no point in talking about what he's doing now, because he's probably not getting the same service that he would got at Celtic. When you look at the missed opportunities that strikers have not taken, statistically, on previous seasons, Adam Ida wouldn't be as bad as what he is maybe down in the Championship. He'd maybe be scoring goals for fun up in Celtic the way he was doing. You never know. You never know. I don't think it's helpful comparing to what players do when they leave Celtic, because let's face it, I'm not even interested in the stats of what a player does once they leave. Is Kenny any worse than the lads we brought in January? Nope. He was abused. The abuse was different levels. Why? Because he's Irish. Because Irish and Scottish players get it in the neck from certain sectors of our fan base. So it's always the same. You know, I've been avoiding social media to stay away from the negativity. Rumours is contract stuff based on games played. We'll wait and see. Rodgers was toxic, destroyed the club. Brendan Rodgers knew what the board were doing. Well, he should have made it all public. How can everyone say Carmack is not captain? He's been, yeah, he's impeccable. Brendan was lucky that there was no strong Sevco club. Yes, he was his first time round. He was that. Cameron Carter Vickers or Alistair Johnson as captains. Johnson or CCV as captain. The Motherwell manager was at the game again. Interesting. Of course he's going to be at the game again because he knows his club are top six. So you're going to be. I mean, people will put two and two together and say that he was at a Celtic game watching Hibs, and he was sat beside John Collins. And obviously that gets the rumour mill going. Oh, no, here we go. John Collins is going to be his number two at Celtic next year. Pure speculation. Pure speculation. I don't even think Celtic know who they want as manager next year, which is highly, highly disappointing. I think that Celtic should have seriously got a short list by now of potentials that they want to ask as being the next Celtics manager. And surely you have words with the agent, even though the agent will say, not the player, the manager's completely focused on his team right now. There's still points to be played. You have talks with an agent through intermediaries. You have someone that's connected, that has a connection with Celtic, to get in touch with their agent and say, look, Celtic are thinking about, are looking for a new manager. Would your guy be interested? And obviously the response will be, look, he's trying to focus on what he's doing just now. But there will also be the caveat of, let's talk about it at the end of the season. It's not a no, it's not a yes, but nudge, nudge, wink, wink, yeah, he's interested type thing. But it doesn't get made public. That's how football works. The manager, I've done that one. Still hoping Hearts slip up. Been saying that for ages now. Hasn't happened. Nope. I've said it before. I got pelters 2 months ago for saying that Hearts were consistent. I got pelters 2 months ago for saying that Hearts only need to win 1-0 each game between now and the end of the season. They don't need to be playing brilliant football. And they're not. That's the thing. Hearts aren't playing good football. Kel's not playing because he covers Greg's franchise with his Mr. Mate. Carmack was named the top 5 or 6 players in the world for minutes played in a season of a number of seasons. Interesting. Alistair Johnson for captain. Kelechi was training himself in Manchester yesterday. So, well, that's interesting. So he's not even training at Celtic. He's doing extra training to get fit because Celtic obviously deem that he's not fit enough. Scott says, I hear that the Willie Hockey initiative is gathering pace. I think we'll see a full revamp of the board and the club next season. That is something that we will pick up the pace with over the next week or so when more details for that come out. There's a lot of negativity about it from Celtic fans, as there is with anything when it comes to do with the board. People are saying, look, he's one cheek of the same arse type thing. And there's an interesting one from Jim Lister. I'm going to come through the comments. Baz, I think our main priority before the end of the season is to try and convince Matt O'Neill to stay and move to a director of football role. Is the director of football role too demanding a role for him to have at Celtic? Wouldn't chairman of the company be a better role for him? If you want to have an all-encompassing conversation with the fans. If you want to try and appease the fan base, you want to have someone at the high in the higher echelons of the boardroom that has an and gets on with and understands the fans and will want to talk to the fans. I can understand why people want him as the director of football, but at 74-year-old, is that not a bit much work? Do you know? I think that we need to be mindful of his age. I mean, he's retired after all. Um, I don't know. I think we need to keep him at the club in some. I was speaking to Bernard Ponsonby on Saturday. The Willie Hockey rumours are very much true. Rumours? I don't think that there's rumours. He's came out in public and said that he what he's what he wants to what he plans to do. I don't think it's rumours. But anyway, text me your inside info on that one. How many points are we behind Hearts if we win on Wednesday? Going to have to beat them as well as need favours. Why do you want me to look at the league table again? Yeah, there we go. If we win on Wednesday, takes us to 58 points. We're still relying on. I mean, we can 58 points. If we then, if Hearts keep on winning and then we beat Hearts, it's all going to come down to the last game against Hearts at Celtic Park. Listen, I think if we beat Rangers after the split, we beat Hearts, I think that we win the league. It's a game of Celtic know what to do. There's players at Celtic know what to do at this time of year, how to play, how to see games out, how to keep going. We never stop, you know. We just never got started this season. When it's not done and dusted as yet, you know, there is still a lot of football. And was it a get out of jail free cards? I mean, it was interesting yesterday to hear Callum McGregor talk about the fact that the Celtic team, the players knew that a draw kept them in it. You know, at worst case scenario was let's not lose the game, but at worst case, let's get a draw. We'll try and win it, but let's not lose it. A draw's not bad. You know, Callum McGregor said, look, we're still in it. It's still within our hands. So it will be interesting. Is there a One Celtic Fans View WhatsApp group? No. Bugger that. No, there is the Facebook page, which has grown pace. Oh, and big announcement, massive announcement when it comes to the Facebook page on a little personal note. Because the One Celtic Fans View Facebook page last night hit the 10,000 follower mark. We have went since I started focusing on Facebook again back in December. We have went from 1,600 or something in November to 10,000 at the beginning of March. That is a phenomenal. Facebook does unbelievable. Just doesn't pay you. It's the downside. But anyway, it's good to be growing that community as well, because it is about trying to get as much eyes on the channel as possible. And talking about that, talking about the channel as well, the channel was doing absolutely fantastic. As we finish this video, no, I don't want that. I want YouTube, because I did put out a little go and subscribe to the channel, chaps, because I want to try and get to 26,000. If we can just get this back up, change screen. It is doing absolutely fantastic, because we are on the road to 26,000. We're on 25,810 subscribers to the channel. That's done absolutely brilliant the last couple of days. So yeah, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Let's get to 26,000 as quick as we can, and then I'll just keep on pushing. You can keep on pushing. You know what I'm like. But anyway, it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm appreciative of every single person that does subscribe to the channel, even though I end up blocking some people that just need blocked in life. You don't need negativity and personal abuse sometimes. And there's the amount of Huns. I went onto the block list this morning, and Jesus, the amount of Huns that are blocked is unbelievable. Anyway, that has me done and dusted for this morning. You managed to have me talking for over an hour. How did that happen? Chris is giving it loudy in the comments. Maybe a Discord chat. Yeah, maybe a Discord chat or something like that. Let me think about that today. Anyway, right, that has me done and dusting. I'm just reading the comments. As you must have had hundreds of requests at half time yesterday. I mean, if you imagine the comments, I think the comments, I don't know what it hit yesterday. But anyway, right, I'm done and dusted for this morning. I need to go. I've got other stuff that I need to do today. I need to go and make some serious cash and have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.